are 10 students. There are 10 students. These 10 students have written one of the examination. In maths examination they have written. Out of the marks 20, out of 20 marks they have written an examination and they got these marks of 15, 20, 18, 17, 16, 15, 20, 18, 19 and 20. Here, let us observe there are 10 students in 10th class. They have written an examination and out of 20 marks, so they got these marks 15 marks, 20 marks and 18, 17, 16, 15, 20, 18, 19, 20 marks. These are the marks got by the 10 students. So we need to find out how many of them they got the range of 15 to 17 and 17 to 19 and how many they got 20 out of 20. So to take out this, to tell about these marks easily, we need to use statistics. The statistics is nothing but collection of the data. First we need to collect the data. We need to collect some of the information. The information is called as data. Collection of the data and classification. We need to classify into some of the groups. To classify the information in particular order, that is called as group. It's nothing but classification and interpretation. So here we understood, we have collected some of the information, that is called as collection of the data. We collect the sum of the information and then after collection classify into some of the groups to understand how many of them got the range of 17 to 18 and the 20 marks, how many of them got 20 marks, how many of them got the range of some of the marks. To find out, we need to classify them into some of the groups, that is classification of the data. Then after, to understand very clearly, we'll use some of the pictures to draw like bar diagram and pie diagram. These pictures we'll use to represent this information and this is called as interpretation of the data. So statistics is nothing but collection of the data, and then after collection we'll classify the data, and then after classification we need to interpret it. That is nothing but showing as some of the pictures to understand very clearly. This is let's take these marks of the students and we have collected the information and the first step we have completed. Then after, these are the marks of the students. We have collected the information. Let us classify into some of the groups. That's nothing but here we can understand the least marks out of 20 are least marks. It's nothing but here we can observe 15 is the least mark. The highest marks highest mark is nothing but 20 out of 20. These marks are out of 20, we know that. So the least mark is 15, highest mark is 20. So after collection of the data, we need to classify into some of the groups, and let's find out how many students got the marks from 15 to 16. Let's count. 15 to 16 are 15 1 here, 15 2, and 16 1, and then there are 3 students got 15 to 16 that are including the 15 16. These are called inclusive classes. The classes are not repeating 16 and 7 is getting the next time. This is called inclusive classes. There are called exclusive classes also, that are 15 to 16, and 16 will repeat again to 17, 17 to 18, and 18 to 19. These are called as exclusive classes because the first group will start with a number that's called lower boundary, and the next is called the ending. The group is called upper boundary. And in this class, we take the first number as lower boundary and the next one as upper boundary. This lower boundary and upper boundary, in this, if the upper boundary is repeating as lower boundary, the next class, it's called as exclusive classes because its upper boundary became the lower boundary of next class. So this is called exclusive classes. These are exclusive classes, and inclusive classes are that here 16 and then 15 to 16, and 16 will not repeat in the next class and we'll get the next number, that is 17 to 18, and 18 will not repeat, and this it becomes 19 to 20. These are inclusive classes we call. And then let's find out how many students got the marks from 15 to 16. Return 15, 15 and 16. 3 students got from 15 to 16, including 15 and 16 also. Let's find out the number of students got 17 to 18, including 17 and 18. That are 17, there is no other 17 here, and 18 is 1, 2, there are 3 students got from 17 and 18, so 3 here. Let's find out how many students got from 19 to 20, including the 19 and 20 marks, that are 20, 20, 20 and 19. There are 4 students left out with 19 and 20. There are 4 students, and total students, let's count this here. Total students are 10. You know, we have taken the marks of 10 students, so the marks are written. That is taken the data, we have collected the information. This is called as data, and after taking the collection of the data, we have classified into some of the groups that are 15 to 16, 17 to 18 and 19 to 20, and then we have written how many number we got, the number of students got 15 to 16, and this number are called as frequency. So, and this after taking the marks, we classify the data. That's the reason we call this is a classification of the data. Then we take this classification of the data and interpret into some of the picture and run as a pie diagram and bar diagrams. We'll call it as interpretation of the data. To find out the median of the data, we have learned in earlier classes of ungrouped data, that is nothing but mean is equals to sum of the observations by number of observations. To find out the mean of the given data in a group form, the data is given in the group form. For a group data, it is to find out the mean of the data, we have 3 methods that are direct method, assume mean method and step deviation method. So we understood to find out the mean of group data we have three methods that are direct method, assume mean method and step deviation method. Direct method we know that mean is represented by x bar. X bar is equals to sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. This is the direct method mean and assume mean method mean. X bar is equals to a plus 1 by n into sigma fi di. Assume mean method. Step deviation method. X bar is equals to a plus 1 by n into sigma fi di into h. This is the step deviation method, and here let's recall x bar is equals to sigma fi xi by sigma fi. It's a direct method mean, and x bar is equals to a plus 1 by n sigma fi di is assume mean method, and step deviation method is x bar is equals to a plus 1 by n into sigma fi di into h. Here we know that if some of the frequencies are given like x1, x2 and x3, x4 and so on, xn, these are the observations. Let observations are this one, and to find out the mean of these observations we are taking sum of these observations, that is nothing but x1 plus x2 plus x3 and so on, xn, divided by sum of the observations. Here how many in number of observations are given, that is n, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. We have taken n observations, so the sum of observations by number of observations, and this can be written as the sum is represented by the symbol sigma xi. I is nothing but it starts from 1, I is equals to 1 and it's end with n, so I is equals to 1 to n. Xi, I is a number, 1 will start with 1, so xi divided by the number of observations is n, so n. So here the xi is repeating, we'll take it as any one of the observations are repeating here, and then we'll take it as fx1, f1x1, f2x2 and 3x3 and so on. We will write, in that case we will be getting the frequency, the observation is repeating, then we call it, we'll multiply with the observation into sum of the frequency. It's called as observation into number of times repeated, so that is nothing but fi xi. So sigma, in that manner we'll write sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. Sigma fi is nothing but small n, how many number of times that fi is repeated, it's called as n. So here we understood that this is defined as the observation is repeating the number of times, so we call it as fi, we multiply with the number of times, that is nothing but we call it as frequency, so xi into fi divided by the number of frequency, the how many number the observations are repeated, and total number of observations is called as fi, that is sigma fi. So this is the mean of the data, the group data sigma. The mean of group data is sigma fi xi by sigma fi. This can be used for observations of these are ungrouped data, For ungrouped data, we can use the formula of sigma I is equals to 1 to n xi by divided by n xi whole divided by n, and this is the formula for ungrouped data. And for grouped data, we can use the formula x bar is equals to sigma fi xi by sigma fi. This is the group data. For group data, we use this formula. So here we understood. Let us take x bar is equals to sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. Let's recall again. This is the group data. This is the mean for group. This is the mean of group data, and sigma is the sum of observation. Xi is observation, and fi is the frequency, the number of time the observation is repeated, and we will multiply with the number of times. So we have taken the observation into number of times. It's nothing but sigma fi xi multiplied, and the sum we are getting and divided by sum of the observations, that is nothing but sigma fi. So here let's define sigma fi xi by sigma fi. We got here the same in the same terms as sigma fi xi by sigma fi. Here xi is observation, the number of times it's repeated by the observations, we call it as f frequency, and fi xi, and its sum is nothing but sigma fi xi. So here x bar is equals to sigma fi xi by sigma fi. So sigma fi is nothing but sum of the frequency. Here when we have taken x bar is equals to a plus, a is nothing but assumed mean. If you have taken any one of the observations here, group data observations we are taking class 0 to 10 and 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and let's take here 30 to 40, and this is 1, 5 and 6, and this is 2. When we are taking these observations here, let's find out fi is sum of the frequency. This is called sum of the frequency, sigma fi, and this is xi. We need to find out the middle value of the class interval. So xi we will get from the class interval, that is 0 to 10 divided by 2. Half of it we will get it from this, so that is we will take it as xi. So 0 plus 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 5 is the xi here. The next class xi is 10 plus 20 divided by 2, that is 30 divided by 2, that is called 15, and 15 is the mid value of the given data. It's called as xi. When the two groups, when a classification of the data, it's written as 0 to 10 as a lower boundary and upper boundary, then we need to take one of the value of it. We will take the average value of lower boundary and upper boundary. That's nothing but 0 plus 10 divided by 2.